Thank you all. Folks, my name is Andy Beshear, and I am the proud Democratic governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. If you don't know me, I'm the guy who won 3 straight elections in deep red Kentucky. I'm the guy that just beat Mitch McConnell's hand-picked candidate by 5 points in 2023. I'm the guy that beat Donald Trump's hand-picked candidate by 5 points in 2023. And for context, Trump won Kentucky by 30 points the year after. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a proud pro-union governor. Thank you to all organized labor. I'm a proud pro-choice governor. I'm a proud pro-LGBT governor. I'm a proud pro-public education governor. And I'm a proud pro-diversity governor. Now, some people may have told you that somebody like me can't win in a place like Kentucky, but obviously that ain't the case. So people often ask me that same question, sometime in just one word. You know that word? How? How'd you do it? How do you pull off victories like that? We won by staying true to our values of compassion, of empathy, and of doing right by our neighbors. We have to talk to people and not at them, and we have to explain our why. That's how I won counties in eastern Kentucky that normally vote for Republicans by wide margins. That includes Breathitt County, the county that J.D. Vance pretends he's from. Donald Trump won that county by 59 points. I won it by 22 the year before. So don't tell me we can't win in tough areas when we lead with what's important to us, when we lead with our why. For me, my why is my faith. It's that golden rule that says we love our neighbor, and that parable of the Good Samaritan that says everyone is our neighbor. My faith teaches me to do what's right for every Kentuckian, whether they always vote for me or whether they've never voted for me. To treat them with respect as people who just want to live a good life, of doing right by their family, their neighbors, and their community. And to spend all day, every day, governing, trying to figure out how to make their lives better, and right now, trying to make their lives a little easier. They know my focus and effort are always on their daily needs, and that I'm fighting to create jobs. It's because I know these gains will help make Kentucky a better place for every single one of our families. And they know I'm going to show up, because that's what people who actually care do. Leaders can't be afraid to show up even when the conversations might be hard or just because the situation is tough. I'll be honest, your Senator J.D. Vance burns me up. He wrote an entire book, Trafficked in Tired Stereotypes, about the proud people of my state. He called the hardworking coal miners that powered the Industrial Revolution, that helped us win 2 world wars, and in many ways this country is abandoned. He called them tired, and he called them lazy. A quick shout out to a guy who is the opposite of J.D. Vance, and who fought like heck for so many years, Sherrod Brown, my good friend. Sherrod is a fantastic leader and a champion for workers. I hope he keeps fighting for Ohio, and I'm excited to see what his future holds. But J.D., on the other hand, his book, Hillbilly Elegy, it was just hillbilly hate. It was poverty tourism, because he ain't from my state and he ain't from Appalachia. And boy, does Ohio deserve a much better senator than him, and we all deserve a better vice president of the United States of America. So let's talk about how we turn this around, how we actually get back those voters that J.D. Vance is so condescending to. I want to give you an example. When I first ran for governor in 2019, there's this county called Henderson, former coal mining county. It had been blue, but it was trending really red. I was the first Democrat to win it in a while. I won it by just a couple points. But since then, we've opened the cleanest, greenest recycled paper mill in the country, 350 new jobs paying $40 an hour with benefits. See, this mill was for people who had been overlooked and who felt forgotten and underappreciated. You know, I was down there, even though I'm the first Kentucky governor that's ever said this phrase out loud: climate change is real. Because it is. Ask any farmer, ask the U.S. military, or ask far too many people who've suffered from natural disasters. But what is also true when we discuss this is that idea of environmental justice came a lot earlier than the idea of economic justice. And what it meant for the people of Appalachia, my constituents, was that group that had helped power America and built the strongest middle class, along with our union brothers and sisters, were left behind. That the new energy job didn't go where the old energy jobs were, and they had felt dismissed and forgotten. Well, instead of dismissing them, I worked every day to bring that and other opportunities back to the state. And you know what happens even in really red areas of the state when you bring good jobs? In my re-election, I won that county by double digits. So that's how we win, by showing up in areas that have been increasingly slipping away. Because I know showing up, I'm not announcing red jobs or blue jobs. I'm just announcing jobs that lifted up every single Kentuckian or every single American family, that gave those 350 families a chance for a better life. Listen, I remember going on a ride with a school bus driver while I was pushing for raises for every single public school employee in Kentucky. She could tell me exactly how much her monthly groceries cost that she could barely afford. But what she could also tell me is how much that vacation cost that she couldn't afford. She and every single public school employee deserve to earn a living wage for what they do. And that's what our American families want. To make it a little easier to get by, to be able to pay that monthly grocery bill without hurting, and yes, to be able to enjoy time with their families on that vacation. They know that that's what I'm for. And they also know that's the why behind what I do every day as their governor. And because they know that about me, it means that sometimes I can do something that I believe in, that they disagree with, but I have enough respect to tell them why I'm doing it. And that can give me the benefit of the doubt. As was mentioned, as governor, I'm proud to have restored voting rights to more Kentuckians than every other Kentucky governor in history combined. Why? Because the Bible tells us that second chances aren't just the right thing to do, they're what we're called to do. I'm proud to be the governor that got medical marijuana finally passed in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Why? Because veterans suffering from PTSD, those suffering from chronic pain that would otherwise be prescribed opioids, deserve a medicine that works for them. I'm the governor that removed the statue of Jefferson Davis from our Capitol Rotunda. Why? Because a glaring symbol of bigotry shouldn't be in our Capitol Rotunda or any other rotunda or capitol across this country. So while I'm there, this current federal administration, they want you to believe that diversity is a dirty word. They want people to believe that equity means that everyone isn't worthy of opportunity. They want to rewrite the hard truths of our history. While they're doing that, by executive order, I made Juneteenth an executive branch holiday for the first time in Kentucky. Why? Because it's an important moment that deserves to be recognized. And it was just the right thing to do. That same day, I signed another executive order based on the Crown Act that ensures anyone working in state government is never discriminated for their hairstyle. And the reason why is that none of our hard-working state employees should ever be discriminated against and should be able to be themselves. I vetoed 4 anti-choice bills, including the most extreme anti-choice legislation in the country that didn't even include exceptions for victims of rape, incest, or non-viable pregnancies. Why? Because while some people may disagree with me, I thought that's what the women of Kentucky deserved. I recently issued an executive order banning so-called conversion therapy in the Commonwealth. Why? Because it's torture. And I believe we should be decreasing suicide, not causing it. I vetoed every piece of anti-LGBTQ legislation that came to my desk, including the nastiest piece in the country that came during my re-election year. I knew that they were going to air tens of millions of dollars of disgusting, negative, nasty, immoral ads. Why did I do it? Because I believe all children are children of God. I didn't want those kids being picked on. If a legislature or not so supermajority was going to show them hate, I was going to show them love. If they were going to show them judgment, I was going to show them acceptance. And folks, some things are worth losing over. And I didn't lose 1 point in that re-election. But here's the power of the why. I knew how it polled, but that's not how I make my decisions. But I also wanted to respect the people of Kentucky enough. And so that day, I went behind my podium, and I said the Bible teaches me that all children are children of God, and I'm going to stand up for them. And I'll never forget the next day I'm at an announcement of new jobs, because that's where we've got to be the next day. And there's this guy in a baseball cap, and he takes a beeline towards me. And I think, uh-oh, I know what's coming. But you know, he got to me, and he stuck his hand out. And he said, Governor, I'm not sure I agree with what you did yesterday, but I know you did what you think is right, and I support you. By letting people into our why, we can create the grace and the space for sometimes maybe people to think about something in a different way, or at least to be a part of this great party where we move all Americans' lives forward. And they also knew that the next day I'd be opening that new factory. I'd be opening a new clinic where they could see a specialist in their community. I'd be opening a new road that cuts 20 minutes off their commute each way, 40 more minutes with their family. I'd be working to make their public school the very best it could be, and I would be working to try to find how they could feel safer in their communities. That's the deal I have made with Kentuckians, and that's the deal we've got to make with all Americans. I believe that Donald Trump won because he convinced that last group of undecided voters that he would focus less on culture war issues and was more focused on lowering costs and addressing inflation. Now, I don't think that's fair, but it's also the exact opposite of what he's doing right now. Instead, we're getting chaos, incompetence, and cruelty. What we've seen since he's been in office is an obsession with culture war issues and a willingness to gamble away the economic gains we've made on non-economic grounds. Donald Trump is tearing apart our democratic norms, gutting the social safety net, weaponizing our National Guard, fraying our international alliances, and decimating our intelligence community and public health expertise, all while telling you your kids have too many toys. He's trying to keep us so distracted that we can't defend against any of it, and he wants us to feel powerless. Folks, we are not powerless. And the actions of the Trump administration are providing a huge opportunity for Democrats to go out and to regain the trust of the American people, to be the party of common sense, common ground, and like the mayor said, getting stuff done. I did use a slightly different word, mayor. But to win, we have to do more than stand against the excesses of Donald Trump. We have to show people not only who we're against, but what we're for, what we can get done for them. So for all of us, and I do mean us, the opening is there. But things aren't easy right now. When you can't afford housing or groceries, when making the family budget work at the end of the month is too hard, nothing else matters. Democrats have to be the party that's seen addressing those concerns. We got to stay focused on people's daily lives. See, if you're staring at the cost of your child's prescription and you're wondering how you're going to pay for it and put food on the table, you'll vote for anybody that you believe will work every day to lessen the burden that you're facing. So we got to make sure that Americans know who's helping them and who's hurting them. Trump Republicans are decimating Medicaid with their big, ugly bill. Here's what it's going to do in Kentucky. It's going to kick 200,000 people off their health care coverage. The Bible says a doctor's for the sick, but there's a lot of sick people who aren't going to be able to see a doctor. It's going to fire 20,000 health care workers, and it may close 35 rural hospitals. Those are the second largest employers behind the public school system in each of the counties. They have the largest budget in each of those counties. This big, ugly bill is a punch in the face to rural and urban America that's going to make it even harder to get by. Why? Because when you lose all those salaries of doctors and nurses and orderlies, fewer people are going to the coffee shop, fewer people are going to the restaurants, fewer people are going to the local banks. This is going to hit our economy in a tough way. And who's going to lose their coverage? Folks, Medicaid covers the people we love the most, our parents and our kids. 50% of Kentucky's kids are covered by Medicaid. 40% of births in Kentucky are covered by Medicaid. And 70% of our long-term care costs are covered by Medicaid. And here's what they are hoping, and I can't believe a human being would hope for that those hardworking parents of a special needs child that now have to do double the paperwork each year are going to miss checking a box, and their child's going to lose coverage for 6 months, lose that therapy, lose that help. That those hardworking individuals whose parents are in long-term care that miss a form are going to lose coverage for 6 months. Take that individual back in their household. How do you go to work, and how do you afford to pay those bills? The ripple effect of this big, ugly bill just on that part are going to devastate our economy, rural America, and so many of our friends and neighbors. And that's before we even get to the part where they are intentionally going to make more Americans go hungry at night when they go to sleep and wake up in the morning. You know, one of the only miracles to appear in every book of the gospel are the fishes and the loaves. And I think what that tells us is in a country where we grow enough food for everybody and can still export a ton, no one should go hungry in the United States of America. And the craziest part about this bill is it doesn't work. It's going to add trillions of dollars to the national deficit, and it's even going to push every state budget out of being balanced. And in the midst of all this, what is Trump trying to do? He's trying to divide and distract us. How we succeed is, again, recognizing that when most people wake up in the morning, they're not thinking about politics. While we are dialed in because we have to be, most people wake up thinking, do I have a job that's going to support my family today? Are my kids going to the best school? If a loved one gets sick, will we have access to quality, affordable health care? Do I have good roads and bridges and broadband access? Can I afford a place to live? The best way to push back against Trump is to show that when Democrats win, we stay focused on the things that matter most to our people. And oh, by the way, when Democrats win, we do something Republicans can't. We govern well. And by governing well, we win back those voters that are skeptical of the Democratic brand. Speaking of that brand, folks, we simply must be a party that more Americans want to join. And the language that we use is a big part of that. We can't say that we're going to meet people where they are and then not actually do it. We need our language to reflect what we feel in our bones. And there's been a lot of language that's been pushed for the right reasons. It's been pushed to reduce stigma, but I believe we don't reduce stigma by changing words. We reduce stigma by changing hearts. Let me give you an example of what I mean. My state and parts of this state have been hit by the opioid epidemic harder than just about anywhere else in America. I've lost over a dozen people that I love and care about, but I didn't lose one of them to substance use disorder. I lost them all to addiction. When we say addiction, it conveys the meaning and the emotion of what it is. It's mean, it's nasty, and it kills people we love. And when someone overcomes it, when they triumph, they deserve to triumph over that thing that is mean and nasty and kills far too many people. And when we can actually address it head on, when that meaning is there, then we get results like we did last year in Kentucky, where we saw a 30% decrease in drug overdose deaths. Thank God. I'll give you another example, and it's this big ugly bill. If we want to push back, if we want to ultimately repeal it, we can't say that yes, we do. We can't say that more people are going to be food insecure, because more people are going to have those hunger pains. They're going hungry. And I'll give you another one that's come out recently. It's called Justice-Involved Population. Do y'all know who that is? Those are our inmates. And I believe in second chances. I started there. We're now teaching a trade in every single one of Kentucky's prisons. We have some of the lowest recidivism rates we've ever had. But you know what our inmates call themselves? Inmates. So we've got to make sure that we are talking to the American people in a way that they can relate to, the way they talk to their friends to, a way where we don't sound like we are talking down, but that we are talking to them. And let me tell you, right now, Democrats can win back the middle, and it is right there for the taking. We do it by showing up and getting dirt on our boots and then governing well. That's how we rebuild and restore the confidence of the American people. So let me tell you, I appreciate all of you for being here tonight. What an incredible room of Democrats. I mean, look around. And I know you're here because you love this country. See, a lot of us could still be licking our wounds. I don't know about you, but I grew up saying the Pledge of Allegiance every day in a classroom. And you know what I pledged to? I pledged to a flag and a country and never to a single individual. But in that pledge, we also pledged to keep this country indivisible. So we know we've got to stand up when either a person or a party tries to create an us versus a them, tries to make someone our enemy simply because of a different registration. We'll resort to any means to create hate and anger towards our fellow Americans. Folks, we've got to get back to the point where we are Americans first and everything else second, third, or fourth. And so I'm here as living, breathing proof that when Democrats put people first and stand up for our values, we can win anywhere. And let me just close by saying, who Trump is trying to make America ain't who we are. We are good people who care about one another. That golden rule that says we love our neighbor, we do love our neighbor, or at least we like them. They might be of a different political party, but we want them to do well, and we want their kids to do really well. So we've got to be that party that is there for everyone, that believes we can lift everyone up without pushing anyone down, that believes our job is to provide that hand up and not kick anyone while they're down. And I believe people are hungry because the way we battle cruelty is with humanity, is making sure that we deliver for the American people on everything that matters the most to them. So to this big room of Democrats, I've got a couple questions. Are you ready? Are you ready to knock doors? Are you ready to elect local Democrats? Are you ready to take back the U.S. House of Representatives? Are you ready to win a lot of governor's races? Well, given I'm going to be the head of the Democratic Governors Association next year, are you ready for a Democratic governor of Ohio? Are you ready for a Democratic president in 2028? All right, let's get out there. Let's do the work. Let's win back the faith of the American people. Thank you all for having me. God bless.